We are doing our relaxation flow today. So it's all going to be about the breathing and just clearing your mind of anything, any troubling thoughts you've had all week. Just focusing on the breath, focusing on the positions. We're going to be holding the positions for a little bit longer and just feeling the stretch. So I hope you enjoy it. Come and lie on your back. Okay, so start with your feet hip distance apart. So we're going to work on our connection, posture and breath first of all. So we'll start with the connection, so you should be feeling it underneath both feet, your lumbosacral junction, TL junction, both shoulder blades and the back of the head. So we're just going to do a few little corrections so that we can feel that connection a bit better. So postural corrections. So we're just going to shuffle our weight from side to side in our feet. We want to create balance between the sides, so we want to feel it equally from left to right foot. So stop when you feel like you've got that weight equal. Then you're going to think about where you're feeling that pressure on the foot. Are you feeling it on the outside or the inside of the foot? So we're going to try and just shift the weight so it's a bit more balanced between either side of each foot. So if you're feeling it more on the outside, you're going to pull the inner arch down towards the floor, but keeping that outer arch on the floor, so we're keeping that neutral ankle. If you're feeling it more on the inner arch, you're going to pull the outer arch down without lifting the inner arch. Then we're going to work our way up to the lumbosacral junction, so junction between your lower back and your pelvis. And we're going to tilt the pelvis anterior, lifting the spine away from the floor. And then we're going to rock the pelvis backwards into a posterior tilt, and we're lowering the spine, curving it into the floor. Peel it away from the floor, curve it into the floor, so we're alternating between anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. And then we just want to stop in the midpoint between the two end ranges, where your lower back should be nice and flat on the floor. It doesn't want to be caved in, and then you don't want to be able to get your hands underneath. So you've got neutral pelvis, neutral lower back, better connection underneath your lumbosacral junction. We'll work our way up to the TL junction. So what we want to imagine is that the rib cage and pelvis are like the pages of a book. We don't want the pages to be open in this rib flared appearance and lumbar extension. So we're going to pull the pages together, closing those pages so that they're parallel with each other. So rib cage and pelvis are parallel, so that the diaphragm and the pelvic floor can communicate when you're breathing, and you'll feel better connection underneath your TL junction. Now up to the shoulder blades. Both shoulder blades should feel equal from side to side. So again, you're going to shift the weight from side to side until you're feeling a little bit more balanced. And shoulders, we want to think about trying to get them into a neutral position. So we want to come away from this protracted, and internally rotated and elevated position. So we're going to slightly retract them, externally rotate and depress the shoulder blades down towards the back pocket. And then we're going to work our way to the head. So the back of the head wants to push straight back down towards the floor without going into neck extension or tucking the chin towards the chest. It's going straight back down, working on activating these muscles at the front of the neck. Eyes pointed up to the ceiling. Okay, so we've got our connection and our posture. And now we're going to work on the breath. So put one hand on the chest, one hand on the tummy. We're just going to think first of all about getting the breath in the right order. So really try and focus your thoughts on your breath. Try not to think about anything else. So we're breathing in and the hand on the tummy wants to lift. Breathe out, hand on the tummy wants to lower. Hand on the chest doesn't want to move anywhere, so that's staying completely still. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, through pursed lips, like you're blowing through a straw. Clearing your thoughts of anything troubling. Bringing your mind back to your breath. So now we've got the breath in the right order. And put your hands around your waist. And we want to try and create our 360-degree breath. So as we're breathing in, we want to feel all the muscles around the abdominal wall. Expand. Trying to push your hands away, all the way around equally, from front to back and from side to side. Struggling to find it, if you just cough, feel all the muscles expand. Use that as a little bit of a wake up for your brain, to let your brain know where your muscles are. Grab hold, give the muscles a bit of a poke, just wake them up. So once you've got your 360-degree breath, we're going to work on the brace. So we don't want to clench, we don't want to tense, we don't want to suck the belly button in. We're going to do an outward push. So as we take the breath in, so we're going to breathe 360 degrees. And then before the breath out, we're just going to do an outward push. So that feeling that you get when you're about to fart. Outward push. Don't let the muscles completely relax as you're breathing out. Let's do a couple more breaths with your brace. Okay, so we're just going to start the flow with a bit of a stretch. So we're going to put the hands right above the head, straighten the legs out. We're going to try and keep the ribs and pelvis in connection. And we're just going to try and reach towards the wall. Try and keep your neutral spine if you can, so you're not just letting your lumbar spine fully extend. So we're keeping that nice position in the pelvis. If we can, it'll obviously extend slightly, but we just don't want to go into this rib flare. We're reaching up towards the wall. Still focusing on the breath. Point the toes as well, so we're getting a full body stretch. And then you're just going to lean your body to one side. So you're going to feel that stretch down more one side of the body. Hands come into the opposite side. Want to get a bit more stretch? Bring the legs to the same side that the arms are. So you'll really feel that stretch down that side, the opposite side. Don't think you can see me on this little live video, so both my hands and my feet are now pointed towards the left hand side, and I can feel the stretch down the right hand side of my body. And then take the arms across to the other side. So I'm now feeling it down the left hand side of my body, and then I can add in the legs. Back into the middle, bend your knees, and then we're just going to tilt the knees one side and then bring the arms over to the opposite side. So my knees are going down to the right and my arms are twisting round to the left. Head's looking to the left as well, and then we're just going to bring the knees across the opposite side and the arms are going to go the other way. And then bring the legs back. So when you're bringing your legs back, you want to try and use these muscles in the abdominal wall at the side, so the opposite side to what your legs are. So you're going to pull the rib cage down towards the floor, bringing the knees up to the ceiling, and then over to the opposite direction. Swap sides. Other way. Let's do a couple more. Okay, knees back up to the ceiling. Make sure you've got your neutral spine. You're going to lift one leg and lower. Lift the other leg, lower. So alternating legs. Think about your breath. Try not to let your mind wander. Think about the movement. Think about this movement just coming from the hips. We don't want the pelvis to change position, we don't want the lower back to change position. And then we're going to create our 360 breath. Outward brace, lift both legs and lower. Lift, lower, lift, lower. And then just pause in the 3-month supine position. Feet neutral, feet higher than the knees over the hips, hips at 90 degrees. Head pushed down towards the floor, shoulders neutral. Focus on your breath. breaths. Hands up to the ceiling, fingers pointed to the sky. Lift the head slightly, look to the direction you're going to be rolling to, and roll. Nice and controlled. Opposite side. So we're rotating from side to side, helping to improve that rotational stability. Nice and slowly. Most things we do in life are sort of in a sagittal plane, which is like up and down, so sitting, standing, walking, running. So our rotational stability doesn't really get challenged very often, but we need it so that we don't get these little micro movements in our spines, which over time can cause issues. Make sure that you end up with a nice straight spine as you land, so we don't want to be bananaed. Pelvis and shoulders are moving at the same time so that we don't disconnect the pelvis and shoulders, and the spine doesn't twist. So this is really good if you do get pain when you turn over in bed, to help improve that pattern. And then we're just going to come up into lower oblique sit. So you're going to keep your shoulder active, and we're just going to twist the hips, twist the pelvis, and take the opposite arm and just reach. And we're just holding that position, and I can feel that down the outside and underneath of my right arm and shoulder, and down the side of my right side as well. Focus on your breath. Come up into a high oblique sit twist. Again, shoulders active. Don't be collapsed in the shoulders. Nice long spine. Feel that twist in the spine now. We want to feel that rotation. Bring that bottom leg round into a pigeon stretch, but we're just going to lower the arms down, head down, and we're just going to stretch into that pigeon stretch. .360 breath. Bring the legs back and come up. And then we're just going to rotate round to the opposite side. So knees up to the ceiling. Nice tall sit. Don't let your body round, so nice and upright. Hold this position. Breathe. rotate to the other side. Down into your lower oblique stretch. So active shoulder, reach with the left arm and feel that down the side of the body. Up onto both hands into your high oblique sit twist. Shoulders active, spine long. Feel that breath. Pull your mind back to your breath. Try not to let it wander off. Bring that leg round into your pigeon stretch. Down onto both forearms, head down, and just hold that position. Try and keep the shoulders active though. Feel that stretch in your bum. Think about where you're feeling this. Back up. Legs back into your oblique sit. And you're going to put one hand down, you're going to lift your bum, bring the other leg round into your tripod. We're just going to hold this position with both hands down on the floor, trying to get that back nice and flat, so we're not curved and rounded, so tuck the chin. Nice long spine, trying to pull that upper back down into extension. And hold and feel that stretch in the hips. And then just slowly, slowly, slowly gonna hinge backwards through that hip and the knee. Just as far as you can go, as far as that back knee will allow, so don't go too far if it's sore in that knee. And just hold that position. Thinking about your breath. And then back up, and we're going to just lift one hand, so the hand that's next to the foot that's forwards, we're going to lift and rotate the hand up towards the ceiling, trying to get that rotation through the spine. And breathe. Keep that lower hand completely flat on the floor, don't let parts of it lift. Hand down. And then what you're going to do, I might just turn around and show you. So you're going to twist, so drop your hip down to the floor, keeping the front foot forwards on the floor. So from here, twist round. So yeah. Ooh, that's going with me everywhere. Okay. we're just going to hold that position. Again, focusing on your breath. Try not to let the shoulders collapse. Point that lower foot down towards the wall, so really stretch it out. Can't see it on the live, but I'm pointing my toes. You can feel a really nice stretch down here and in that opposite bum cheek. Come back round. And we're going to come up into high kneel and then just lean forwards into a hip flexor stretch. Lean on your knee if you need to. Focusing on your breath. Feel that stretch down the back of, down the front of the back leg. Come out of it, and then we're gonna go to stand from the high kneel. So remember, we need your pelvis level with the floor, neutral spine, knee tracking second and third toe. Curl the back foot under, lean into it, and stand. I'll turn this way. Take that other foot back and slowly, 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 slowly down, keeping the pelvis level with the floor, and back up. We'll just do 4 of these. Slowly, slowly down, up, slowly down. Last one. Slowly down. And then we're going to get our imaginary ball between our hands, lift it and twist to the opposite direction. And then take the hands down into tripod. Again, both hands flat on the floor, and we're trying to work on getting the spine nice and flat. So trying to pull that spine down towards the floor, holding that position, feeling it in that front hip. Breathe in. Don't let your mind wander, don't think about anything that's been bothering you all week, so we're just thinking about our breath, thinking about the position, thinking about the feel, and then hinging slowly, slowly, slowly backwards, trying to keep that nice position in the spine. And only go as far back as your back knee will allow. Hold this position. Back up. Then we're going to take the other hand up to the ceiling this time. Feeling that rotation through the spine. Keep that hand that's on the floor fully connected with the floor. and back down. I'm going to turn around this way as well so you can see me. So now we're going to drop that back hip down to the floor. Oh, mat's getting in the way. Point that bottom toe, and then we're just going to feel it now. I'm feeling it in that glute, but not so much down my side with this side, so my right side's tighter. Don't feel it so much down here. Point the foot. Try and keep your shoulders active. Come back round into high kneel again, and we're just gonna lean into it. So opposite hip flexor stretch. Back away. We're going to come up into our stand, so we'll do 4 on this side as well. So make sure we've got pelvis level, neutral spine, knee tracking for second and third toe, hinge forwards and stand. He was a bit wobbly on that one. Take the leg back, slowly down, stand, slowly down. Try and keep your ankle neutral as well. We're actually just going to do one more stand on this side because we're going to go down into a roll and into downward dog. So stand for one last time, and then we're going to roll down towards the floor. Take the hands out and then into our downward dog. And just hold that position. And breathe. Feel that down the backs of the legs. Probably feel it in your feet as well. You might feel it more in one side than the other. Think about your body, what you're feeling. Bring the knees down to the floor, so into your low bear, down into quadruped, and then down into low quadruped. And we're just going to find our neutral, upper back into extension, so stretching that upper back, mobilising through there, so we're not rounded. And then we're just going to hinge the hips backwards, as far back as we can. So we're sitting almost on our feet. So we're in a low quadruped prayer stretch. Your head's on the floor, put your hands around your waist. And just think about your breath. Think about your 360-degree breath. And you'll really feel it going down into your pelvic floor in this position. Your pelvic floor's stretched. And then hinge out of it. We're going to come up into our quadruped. Again, find neutral, upper back in extension. And then we're just going to hinge backwards slowly. Try not to round through the lower back. Hold this position. Focus on your breath. Come forwards. And then you're just going to take one arm underneath your body, palm facing to the floor. And we're just going to hold this position and feel that underneath, on the back of the underneath shoulder. So if your palm's facing up, that's fine, but you'll get a bit more of a stretch if you try and get your hand down towards the floor. Again, focus on your breath. Bring that hand back, and then you're going to take the other arm underneath. Bring that back. Find neutral. Upper back nice and lengthened up towards the floor. Curl the back feet under. Lift the bum in the air into bear. And we're just going to hold this position. And then just push your legs back, so we're into downward dog again. Keep focusing on your breath. Try and pull your thoughts away from anything worrying, anything that you've got planned today. Just think about what you're doing right now, where you're feeling that stretch. Take the knees back down again, into your bear, and we're going to hinge the hips backwards. So maybe take your bum a little bit higher in the air into a high bear, so that you don't get that rounding of the lower back. Walk the hands backwards into your squat. And again, we're just going to hold that position. Probably won't be able to hold it for very long, but this is something we should be able to do. We should be able to hold this. Nice and upright spine. And then stand. I'm just going to do a few squats. So make sure you've got your neutral spine. 360 breath. And then down into your squat. Just as low as you can go. Nice upright spine. Again, I'm going to hold it. do 2 more of them, so find your neutral, get your breath, slowly lower down into your squat, nice upright spine, a few big nice deep breaths, 360 breaths, so not up into the chest. Back up, keeping that pelvis neutral as you come up. Last one. Find neutral, 360 breath. Down. Hold and breathe. And stand, keeping that pelvis neutral, and we're done.